Good morning. Welcome to the BBC News on Thursday, March 14th. Francis begins his challenging papacy with prayer. Pope Francis has begun his first day at the helm of the Catholic Church with a private prayer ahead of Mass with cardinals later on Thursday. Karzai speech put NATO forces at risk, commander warns. International troops in Afghanistan have been put at risk after an inflammatory speech by President Hamid Karzai, NATO's commander warned. Large Hadron Collider cement Higgs boson identification. Scientists at the LHC say the particle outlined in July 2012 looks increasingly to be a Higgs boson. South Africa. Over 25% of schoolgirls HIV positive. At least 28% of South African schoolgirls are HIV positive compared with 4% of boys because sugar daddies are exploiting them, Health Minister. Israel Prime Minister Netanyahu reaches coalition deal. The Israel India orders Italy Ambassador Mancini not to leave. France, UK, may bust Syria arms ban. France and the UK would consider arming the Syrian opposition even if Israel. France. Good morning. Francis begins his challenging papacy. Pope Francis. Karzai speech put NATO forces at risk, commander warns. International troops in Afghanistan have been put at risk after an inflammatory speech by President Hamid Karzai, NATO's commander warned. On Sunday, Mr. Karzai accused the US and the Taliban of colluding to prolong the conflict in the country. His remarks could be a catalyst for some to lash out against our forces, US and NATO forces Commander Gen. Joseph Dunford said in a leaked email. International troops are scheduled to end combat missions in 2014. In a nationally televised speech, President Karzai referred to two Taliban attacks on Saturday in Khost and Kabul that left 19 people dead. He suggested both the US and Taliban were trying to convince Afghans the situation would worsen after. In a message sent to senior military, President Karzai may issue orders that put our forces at risk, he wrote in the alert, known as a command threat advice. Karzai speech put NATO forces. Good morning. Welcome to Karzai. International. Large Hadron Collider cement Higgs boson identification. Scientists at the LHC. Large Hadron Collider cement Higgs boson identification. Scientists at the LHC say the particle outlined in July 2012 looks increasingly to be a Higgs boson. The Higgs, long theorized as the means by which particles get their mass, had been the subject of a decades-long hunt at the world's particle accelerators. Yet there is still some uncertainty as to whether the particle is indeed a Higgs, and if so, what type it is. Results at the Moriond meeting in Italy suggest strongly that the particle's spin is consistent with the Higgs. Teams from the two Higgs hunting experiments, ATLAS and CMS, analyzed 2.5 times more. All that is conclusively established is that the particle is in the family of bosons, but researchers had. The zoo of subatomic particles are characterized by properties. What is more, theories predict that a number of different types of Higgs may exist. The BBC's Pal Lapgosh said, the mystery of how the universe works is even greater. The simplest form. Good morning. Well, Francis. Karzai. Large Had. South Africa. Israel Prime Minister Netanyahu reaches coalition deal. The Israeli PM Benjamin Netanyahu has reached a deal to form a coalition government, officials say. His Likud Israel Beitenu party list will form a coalition with the centrist Yesh Atid and Hatnua and the far-right Jewish Home. Mr. Netanyahu was forced to give up his alliance with the ultra-Orthodox parties, Shas and United Torah Judaism. It took 5 weeks. There is a government, Likud spokeswoman Noga Katz was quoted as saying by Reuters news agency. On his face, Israel. Good morning. Welcome to the BBC News on Thursday, March 14th. Francis begins